the fucking board. Log. Roll the intro.
Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Booth Podcast, episode 12, Christmas special, all that good stuff. My name is Fedden, and joined alongside me, a man who I have not seen in a very, very long time, it feels like, but we're back over the Christmas period. We got Mayhem. How you doing, my friend?
Well, mate, I've got a cough, a sore throat. I put my back out, taking the wee ones to the Enchanted Gardens, so I'm injured. Had to do a late fitness test to
I
be
really
here.
thought you were going to say the school disco then. I was like, Jesus Christ, you were cutting some shapes, weren't you?
No, I was, wasn't quite fully fit and ready for the school disco.
You didn't throw out this one, did you? No.
Was given a pass on the school disco. But yeah, still got a few twinges. Not quite fully fit, but needed to be here. We had gone too long for obviously scheduled clashes and real life events that had stopped us from getting together. So I had to power through.
Yeah, a series of unfortunate events. The winter cold flu hit me very hard 2 weeks ago, which completely ruled me out of action. And then, of course, last week you were enjoying a lovely evening away with the family, and so which then we couldn't, of course, record. But by all means, this is definitely the Christmas special. Christmas spirits in the air, certainly high indeed. Got a lot to look forward to over the next 2 weeks. Good food, plenty of beer, fantastic company, spending time with your loved ones, opening up gifts, and of course, we've got plenty of football to look forward to. We've got the Darts World Championship as well, which has started off with an absolute bang. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. But despite the Christmas spirits being high, the football spirits not so much. I believe, speaking on, basically from our perspectives, Joel, like we haven't had the best of times in recent weeks. I know you voiced your frustrations. Well, just in the intro alone, but also last Saturday after the result against Hearts, and I feel you've got a lot to vent this evening. And so what I'm going to do, I'm passing the torch over to you, my friend. Fire away.
I think in terms of Christmas analogies, I'm about to become Scrooge here for the next little bit. Normally when you lose a game, you have that build up, the disappointment, the anger towards performance, and that the disappointment, it kind of teeters out, and by the time we'll get to do a pod, whether we've had a good and an amazing result or not so much, you're kind of level. You've either been way up and you've come back down, or you've been down. Still fuming with the club in every aspect. Like fuming with, like I said, the board, fucking bank balance checking, scummy little bastards that couldn't take a little bit of criticism. They've absolutely tanked and booted and expelled a section of fans for doing stuff wrong. But when they get a little bit of criticism, they can't take it. The fan has to be removed from the stadium. The decisions that the football club has made as a whole, as they've made as a board, it's just baffling. Words can't go. We've gone from a treble-winning team, right? And this happens historically through Celtic's history. Historically, when we're at the top, instead of us kicking on, right, we plateau. And there is no reasonable explanation as to why. We're in a UEFA Cup final, we get beat by Porto, we plateau. Porto had a couple of players go on to win the Champions League next year, so it plateaued. We've then obviously went through an incredible period of success. They had their destruction as a football club in 2012, that was the point to just put the foot on the gas and just leave them behind and leave behind Scottish football.
Yeah.
Everyone from the outside would say it's boring, blah 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 blah. Shut up and go watch the Bundesliga. Shut your fucking mouth. I don't
Yeah.
care.
The 10 in a row should have been written in stone,
I
essentially.
don't care about some Bournemouth fan's opinion that Scottish football's boring. Mate, I don't give a shit. You've got 12,000 fans. I don't give a shit about Ipswich fans. Don't talk to me. You're playing the Championship. You're fucking League One fans piping up. Be quiet. Shut the fuck up. No one gives a shit about you. Right? Apart from the people in your surrounding area that pay £20 to come and see you, no one gives a fuck. Right? We had the chance to leave Scottish football behind and really push on. Right, bring in, say to people, right, okay, we're still going to do the same plan. We're still going to give you that 2-3 year plan where we bring you in as a youngster and we build you and we step you on. But actually, to attract an even better type of youngster, what we're going to do is we're going to take you through the group stages of the Champions League, through the group stages or the latter stages of the Europa League. We're going to put you in positions where you're playing huge matches and you're not tempted to fuck off to Saudi for 250 grand because you've completed Scottish football. That's where Jota goes. Jota does a double, does a treble, and then goes, well, where else can I go? What else can I do? I'm getting mega money to go and play in Saudi. Like, I'm not going to get anywhere near that, and I've completed Scottish football. Brendan Rodgers comes back, potentially at the time, the leading candidate that we could have got. There was other names in the hat. Brendan Rodgers comes back, and either one, he's thick as fuck, or two, he's been flat lied to. Because the first one, he's thick as fuck. He's saying things like making us dream about playing in Europe again, and for people that don't trust me or don't believe in me, I'll see you here in May, and you can judge me then. So he's saying stuff like that, and he knew fine rightly that he wasn't going to be back. So if he's done that, he's thick, or he's been lied to because he said those kind of statements, and the board haven't given him an adequate scouting function within the club, which has been here for years. Right, it isn't a Brendan Rodgers thing. Right, Ange Postecoglou clearly had far more of a say over the final transfers, and he still has some stinkers in there, like Bernabei still cutting about the fucking place. Right, but it's a running theme of people that come to this football club and fucking die, like Marvin Compier, like fucking Derek Barichta, like fucking Henry, whatever it was, fucking Camera or the striker. There's been so many duds, Miku, all these players that fucking turn up that just have absolutely no impact
Yeah, no,
on
I
the
get
football
you.
club. It's clear areas. As a fan, as a bog standard fan, right, anyone that goes and watches Celtic week in, week out could have told you there's an issue in midfield if Atati gets injured. That's happened this season. We've got an issue at left back. Greg Taylor's okay if we were at home playing against fucking St Mirren or someone, but we have a problem at left back. In one, he has absolutely no competition, and two, he's a very small ceiling. Left back was an issue. When we lost Jota, we had a massive issue on the wing, and Joe Hart has done an okay job since he's come to Celtic, but we needed a keeper. Joe Hart couldn't catch a fucking cold at this point. Why he insists on punching everything that comes into his box and how vulnerable he's made us on corners because he can't take 2 steps off his fucking line and catch a ball is beyond me. Right, we're starting to now see why Joe Hart, as well as he's done, and he played okay in the Feyenoord dead rubber that meant absolutely fuck all it means is BT Sport can put in the bin their stupid fucking graphic of how since the last time since Celtic won, throwing up 2,000 odd days, fuck you. So, but apart from that, like domestically, it just doesn't make any sense how he just can't come out and literally catch a fucking football. I don't get it. We went and spent on Barkas. What the fuck was that? £5 million on another absolutely dog shit
5 million for Barkas, was it?
Yep.
Christ.
And the same pattern over and over and over again, shopping around for these £4-5 million players and taking risks consistently instead of just going and paying 8-9 million. And you look when we're in that bracket, we're in the higher bracket, the 6-7-8 millions. Edward, Jota, Camera Carter Vickers. There's a theme here.
Yeah, you guarantee quality.
that these guys don't let you down. Even Kyogo, like the reported fees around that 4.5, slightly lower, maybe a wee bit of an outlier, but again, you're paying towards the 5 million mark, if we're rounding up and being kind. Once you go and pay that, they just come in and dominate this league. Now, whether our ignorance and naivety towards the situation is ridiculous. Like missing out on players like John McGinn because Peter Laurel doesn't like Hibs. The fuck is going on here? And we're bringing in Hatate, we're bringing in, Kyogo, we're bringing in Alistair Johnson. We're getting all this done. Peter Laurel comes back to the club, and all of a sudden we're signing Yang. We've gone from a treble-winning team to putting out the exact same team the next season with less quality because Palmer isn't the player that Jota is. So we haven't improved. We've regressed.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers is trying to implement a new style, a style that Scottish football is well aware he plays because he played it fucking 3-4 years ago when the fuck he was here.
Yeah.
And towards the end of Brendan's time, it was getting found out. Yes, it was very successful when he first started, and we were, obviously invincible and the treble, but by the time he was leaving, people were starting to clock on. So it's just a case of going back in the history books and what was effective then. And everyone's doing it low block. And we can't break anyone down because we've got fuck all pace. And when we do bring on pace, Maeda can't do anything but run.
Yeah.
We've got Abada to come back from injury. Where's that boy's head going to be at? Because of the fucking all the shit that has happened with the conflicts in the Middle East. How motivated is that cunt going to be to play for us? I imagine not very, because his pal near bit on that he's pally with before he fucked off and been yapping up on Instagram. He can fuck off and he was shit as well. We fucking talk about our club, mate. You stole a living for the 5-6 years you were here. Get in the ground and shut your mouth.
Yeah, this is the ugly side of that model that Celtic do give. Like you said, you go on, you develop these players that you take risks on. They go on for big money to bigger clubs, and then it's just that rinse and repeat where you're taking risks. On any of the other season, you bring in
an equal person replaced. They just bank this shit.
This is it.
Champions League money, season ticket holder money, 25 million for Jota, and you're telling me the best we can get is Lewis Palmer. Daniel Podence was up having negotiations in Glasgow and we didn't want to pay his wages. I fucking tell you what, if we got Daniel Podence in, right, he would have double the amount of goal contributions that Palmer has. And Palmer is the best of a bad fucking bunch. I don't really have a problem with Palmer, to be honest. He's okay, but he's an average fucking footballer.
Yeah.
We got £25 million for Jota and replaced him with someone that is sort of half of his ability.
Yeah, and 10% of that fee.
Yeah, and instead of saying, okay, Podence wants a bit of money, it's a risk, but his prowess, his profile, that attacking dynamic, left-sided winger, we fucking need.
He's got a more attractive CV than Palmer and Yang do. I mean, this is Daniel Podence, who's played Premier League football at Wolves. He's played Champions League football at Olympiacos.
I mean, Premier League football doesn't really mean a lot to me because I've seen Shane Duffy, and unfortunately this season I've seen Dan Phillips.
Oh God!
So,
yeah, I'll take that back. Then. Yeah.
So, but I see what you mean. We've seen him play. Anyone that has eyes,
yeah. In comparison to someone of Palmer's and Yang's caliber, yeah.
There's a name here that we haven't even signed, but Podence in comparison to fucking Mikey Johnson, right? There is no.
I was waiting for his name to pop up.
This is where we are at. We've got a choice on the right hand side between Forrest, Yang, or Johnson. Maeda is coming back to fitness, offers to come on in the second half, so that'll probably be the guy because he runs a lot. But the other three, if Maeda was preferred on the left, because that's where he would have chopped and changed and underhand, if he was preferred on the left one game, Palmer wasn't available for whatever reason. You've got a choice between Forrest, Yang, and Johnson. And really, as sad as it is, after the last couple of weeks, I would lean towards James Forrest. And that is the man that should not be at the football club. He had his testimonial, and we should have said, look, James, you've been an incredible servant for the football club, but in terms of levels. It just isn't there.
Yeah.
And or you're going to be. We'll keep you around for the atmosphere. You'll play against fucking. I can't remember who we've got in the cup, but you're playing like the early rounds of the cup. If it's a lower division team, that'll be your part in the squad. So that if you're happy to do that, you can stay. There'll be a reduction in your wage, obviously, because of your contribution on the pitch. But the fact that he's coming on to try and save it against Hearts, it just screams volume. Kyogo, I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck Brendan's done to Kyogo. But you're talking about the guy that was racking up Larson numbers. Rogers has come in and he's just not in the game.
No.
Like Bernardo that we brought in, what's the fucking point in him?
It's the thing.
What
Plenty
what
of
happens in
promise, more risk,
what
and
happens in January when people come and test our reserve for Matt O'Reilly? Because if we lose Matt now,
this is it. And then that just. Honestly, I really do see the regression within the club now. I mean, obviously the results have reflected it. Bar, in recent weeks, bar the Feyenoord game, which I thought was a fantastic happy ending, at least for Celtic to get a win on the board. But in terms of the league performances, it really has shown that the lack of investment and the quality of investment that has come in is just far below par.
we're playing Liam Scowls at centre back. Now again, he's had a really good season so far, and he has played well in certain matches. But he should be nowhere near the squad.
No.
He should be nowhere near the squad. And the fact that he's been one of the best players this season tells you the levels that the club is at. You could count probably on one hand the number of games that we have looked good in.
Yeah. No,
Like,
absolutely.
it hasn't clicked. It hasn't worked. It's just looked so slow. We've gone from this fast-paced, free-flowing. It's like I know that it's a different style, but it's so slow. Like teams just get back into their shape, do the low block. They're happy for us to cross the ball in, and they just head it away. And we're so fucking weak from set pieces that they know that they've got a chance. Look at the Motherwell game. Barely had a fucking shot. Got a corner. Draw 1-1. Hearts on the weekend get their first goal from Lawrence Shanklin, fucking rat cunt, at the back post. Free header.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. And you could pick out so many games this season where we've just let ourselves down to a stupid fucking set piece.
Yeah. No, ridiculous fine margins. And the fact that, like you're saying, names like Liam Scales and David Turnbull being the most notable standout performers for Celtic this season just goes to show how far that squad has completely just deflated. It's depleted completely.
With some huge games, obviously, culminating on the 30th at home, but we need to get to January in a position where we're either slightly in front or within touching distance and really go and flex the fucking money we have in the bank
Yeah,
instead of
absolutely.
these cunts sitting on their arse, right, fucking scratching around for their bonus. They need to bring the Green Brigade back, bring the boys back. Does everyone in the fan base like the Green Brigade? No, they don't, right? And that's fine. But the most vocal and passionate supporters that give the team a lift. If you as the board, if you make a rash decision or a controversial decision, what you need to happen is there to not be a detrimental effect to other things. So if you say we're locking you out and the team goes on this run, right? Clearly there's something off with the team. This off-house bullshit, and a lot of people are saying, it's reminiscent of, the COVID season, the Neil Lennon season, just allowing this shit to continue. That shit needs to be resolved, right? The Green Brigade, they need to be back in. Bring in the boys as well. Obviously, they're standing in support with the Green Brigade over or obviously the ban that's in place. That shit's the first thing that needs to be sorted, right? Whatever it was the Palestine shit. But you're fucking painting it as, get it fucking sorted.
Yeah.
If it's pyros, then they're not allowed to do pyros anymore, right? And if it literally was that, then that should have been dealt with in a week. Don't do that anymore, right? Whatever. Any fine that comes on the club, you'll have to front. Blah blah. Whatever the fuck. But it should have been dealt with. We're this far down the line. There's too many factors going on, and that's one of them. I believe that's having an impact when we're playing at home. I'm not saying if they were there, we wouldn't have had shit results, because we probably would have, because of the fucking team that's been presented to Brendan Rodgers. But he doesn't. Brendan doesn't help himself either. You know what I mean? Like Lager Bielka, who scores the winner against Feyenoord, in his post-match press conference, says he's been training really hard, waiting for his opportunity. Blah blah blah. Callum McGregor says the same thing, and then a couple of days later, he says he's happy to sell him. This is again someone.
What?
This is someone that we paid whatever it was, like 3 million,
Yeah,
4 million,
3.5 million. Yeah.
and apparently he's deemed not better than fucking Liam Scales or Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips, mate, just fuck off back to Liverpool. If I never see you ever again,
Well, I think I've seen something that apparently Liverpool are exploring the possibility of actually recalling Nat Phillips, which I'm pretty sure you'd be happy to see.
Fucking brilliant. Take him
Yeah.
back. And my advice to every Liverpool fan is sell him as quickly as you can, right? Because he's absolutely fucking gob, right?
Yeah.
Getting fucking outclassed in the Scottish Premier League, which you're all fucking shitting on, saying it's dog shit. So imagine what happens when the guy's got Hallam running at him. Get him in the fucking bin. We've got Narofsky, paid 5 million for him. Dean not good enough. What's the point? What's going on here? Why are we going out and
I've
spending?
never seen the guy play.
Played a couple of games at the start of the season and has completely disappeared. He did get injured, to be fair to him, but just gone again. Deemed not good enough. Kobayashi was one obviously brought in under Ange, but basically dog shit. Don't want him anymore. So what's going on?
Yeah.
Honestly, we need to go out. At some point, the Liam Scales bubble will burst as well. He can't continue
Yeah.
to play
Yeah.
at this level because he just isn't that level of footballer. Otherwise, he would have been in the team. He wouldn't have been on loan at Aberdeen, or Aberdeen, wouldn't have been scratching around trying to make a late fucking surge for Europe last season if they had that level of defender at their club. So he's not that level of defender. Eventually, that shit will burst. But he's had a great season. Fair play to him. I mean, honestly, at the moment, hand on heart, bar Matt O'Reilly, he would be in running for player of the season at the moment. Matt O'Reilly's been fantastic, and
Hmm.
he's head and shoulders above anyone else at the football club for the best player, probably the best player in Scotland this season. Like, he's just been phenomenal. But Liam Scales, in terms of at Celtic, he would probably be in the running as the second best player at the football club. But eventually, that bubble will burst.
Yeah.
We've seen Liam Scales before. We've seen him in a couple of games, and then he went out on loans. But clearly, he wasn't at that level. A loan stint at Aberdeen doesn't turn you into fucking prime Maldini. He's hit a great spike of form, but eventually that will dip. So we're going to need that fix. Left back, Greg Taylor's always struggled in the Brendan Rodgers system. Going down the line, he likes to invert. That's where he played his best football under Ange. We're not really playing that role anymore. He's struggling. We need a left back. We need wingers, 2 to be precise. And I don't know what the fuck's happened to Kyogo. But obviously, the Asian Cup's coming up as well, where we're going to lose Atati, we're going to lose Maeda, we're going to lose Kyogo. So we need a fucking striker.
So they'll be gone for
I
roughly,
think,
a month, a few
I
weeks?
think, I think O's going as well. So O and Kyogo, that's literally our strike force. We need a striker.
Yeah. No,
Linked
but
with, was it, who's the fucking boy at Wolves? Is it Fabio Silva?
yeah. Isn't he on loan at the moment?
I don't. That's who we've been linked with. Like, come on,
Okay.
like again. Like, why? Why are we linked with this cunt?
Well, this is the thing. Like, if you're being linked with Fabio Silva, who I'm pretty confident is on loan at Anderlecht at the moment, and is still not having a good time at Anderlecht, again, it's still scraping the bottom of the barrel from the board's perspective, no, they need to go in this January. They need to approach this January and address pretty much every area of that field completely. Give Greg Taylor that competition, fix that midfield, get a new striker in, and especially fix the fucking wingers situation.
Fix the board situation. Just all fucking resign.
Just bin them off completely.
It's the scouting system. The scouting system just needs done. The problem is it's Peter Laurel's son. So that's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because if we fuck up and we don't do anything this season, he's having an interesting conversation at the end of the season. Does he sack the manager or does he sack his son? Be fucking interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it will be. Will it happen? Don't know. Probably not.
The scouting department is fucking utter shit.
And it's the thing, and look at it, your next fixture, Livingston at home, rock bottom of the Cinch Premiership at the moment. Fills me with fucking nerves.
Yeah, just something is broke. Something radical needs to happen. We were playing Awata and McGregor slightly forward, and I felt that dynamic was kind of growing. Awata gets injured, so there is a little bit of unluckiness there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, if one player gets injured, the next player coming in shouldn't be so fucking shit and such of a drop off. But you're going to need to use your squad through the season. We're playing in Europe as well. Clearly, the club had absolutely no ambition to go past the fucking 6 games that we were playing because the drop off in squad is mental.
Yeah.
We're playing with Mikey Johnson, man. Fucking hell.
Honestly, mate, my heart breaks for you every time you say his name.
But
the thing is, excuse me. But the thing is, something worked against Feyenoord. Something worked. A system worked. The team selection worked. You know, mentioning names like Lager Bielka, who scored the winner.
What happened is that Feyenoord are a competent team and come to play, and then we could exploit spaces. The tactical style that Brendan Rodgers plays, right? It is like a counter press, but it's also the fact that when the team comes on, you play those quick, incisive passes. That's not what 10 out of the 11 teams that we face are going to do. The other 10 are going to sit in a low block and they're going to say, come and break us down. And that isn't where, because we take time to build up, pass it slowly, methodically, and they just get in their shape and they head away.
Yeah.
Feyenoord come to play against us. On the 30th, I think we'll beat them. Because, thank fuck, right? Even though at the moment we are shite, they're also fucking shite.
Very shite.
These guys are bamming up that they won the League Cup. This was the League Cup when we done the double that you were telling us was a Diddy Cup because you'd won the Scottish FA Cup and you were telling us it was a cup that they'd talk about being scrapping and it means fuck all. And now they're getting a hard on because they've got the crane out and they're pasting up their new number that they've won 25 and whatever. Like they now think they've got the second coming of Pep Guardiola. He's a shite. You were 8 points behind us, and we have, like I've said, literally on paper, you could count maybe 4 games if you're lucky when we've actually been decent. We were okay in the first half against Kilmarnock, okay in the second half against St Johnstone, but we're playing in patches, and you're 8 points behind us. If you win your games in hand, fair enough. You're and you beat us, you're above us, whatever. But you're a shite as well because you were 8 points behind us. And you might say it was under Michael Beale, where the players haven't changed. You're a shite.
Exactly. Yeah.
We come to Ibrox with a fucking second string team and beat you 1-0.
No,
So
absolutely true. Yeah.
On the 30th, I think we'll be fine because they will come to play. They won't play in a low block. If they had any sense, they'd play in a fucking low block and we'd struggle like fuck. But they won't. They'll come to play. Obviously, I think we'll be all right. We've told them they're not getting any fans. I mean, the one thing that the board's actually done correct, fair play. You've done something right, so you can do things right. You just actively choose to do things wrong, you fucking bunch of cunts. We've told them they're not getting fans. They're all crying about it. You just fucking started it.
I was going to say, yeah, it started the other way around. Cry me a river.
Oh.
This is it.
Celtic have said, give us back the old allocations. That's never going to happen because there will be young bears that sing their wee songs in that section. So we're never going to get that
The
stand back. But
Onion Bears.
just just give us the European allocation. Just give us the allocation you give Partick Thistle. They're crying that they get tucked in a corner. Oh, we get tucked in a corner. Well, mate, every single fucking home team will stick the fans. They'll accommodate to the home fans. Of course they fucking do. Is it a restricted view in the away end? Yeah. That's why it's the away end, you fucking bunch of bellends. Have you not got a brain about you? It
Oh
is a
my
restricted view.
god.
Of course it is. That's why it's the fucking away end. But so they've done that. So obviously there'll be no fans inside on the 30th. There was no fans inside Ibrox when we won. So you can't use that as an excuse when they come up short, because ultimately what Rangers do in games that matter against us is come up short. Is what they're best at. I mean, in the cup final as well, they should have had 2 penalties given against them. We won't get onto that though. Yeah, we'll leave it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Um, but there needs to be a vast improvement. Brendan, if he cares as much as he pretends he does, because everything that comes out of his mouth's a load of bollocks. But to keep up the facade of just going through the motions isn't enough to play for this club. Blah 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 blah. There needs to be a big reaction. There needs to be some serious thought put into who you're putting on that pitch. Mikey Johnson against Hearts was shit. He's done. Right? There's levels to football. That's the sad reality. That's why you've got people playing for Wrexham, you've got people playing for Man City. There's levels. Right? Mikey Johnson is not a title-winning level footballer. He's not.
No.
People are saying, "Oh, he plays well for Ireland," and well, exactly. But what the fuck are Ireland doing? Are they after the Euros? No. That tells you the level, then, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, if he's getting called up to the fucking national team.
So, his level would probably be a Hibs or a Hearts or that kind of level. He probably would do. He would probably do okay, although he wouldn't do too good. But it probably isn't that level actually, because he could do fuck all against Hearts. So it's probably a little bit lower than that.
Yeah,
Probably
Ross
a
County.
championship player. Maybe if he went alone to Dundee United in the championship, he might have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
But in terms of a football player, a Celtic football player, he just isn't it. Not at all.
Yeah. But overall, like courtesy of the recent results, on paper it's put the ball in Rangers' court. 5 points adrift, 2 games in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do love the fact that despite it looking not so great on paper, when it comes to the 30th, that the confidence is still there to overcome them.
Yeah, because they're shy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
just want to hear it one more time, man.
We're shy as well, and I guarantee
but
you,
they're super shite.
The pod after the 30th will start again with, "I forgot how fucking shit you are,
man."
Fucking Captain Tavernier that's won 3 trophies. St Johnson have won that. Well done, mate. He's
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
He's a Hall of Famer for them. Rangers
No,
Football
he's
Club.
not. Is he really?
He's in their Hall of Fame.
Oh
He is in their Hall of
my
Fame.
word! It speaks volumes.
You're talking about someone that's won 1 league title, 1 Scottish FA Cup, 1 League Cup,
And is a penalty merchant.
and he's in their Hall of Fame.
Brilliant.
We've got people that have been on 6 months fucking loans, I'm sure, that have come away with, maybe not 6 months, I might be pushing my luck, but probably got 2 trophies. Certainly people that have done a year fucking loan come away with 3 trophies.
Yeah.
Paddy Robert was here on a year loan. Well, he did come back, but on his first year loan, he'd matched the fucking total that Tav's built up in fucking...
I was going to say he's been there. He's been there a really long time now, hasn't he? He was. I'm pretty sure he was there when Rangers were down in the Championship, League One.
No, he's been there for fucking donkey since Celtic lift fucking trophy after trophies in their Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It just shows the fucking crock of shite.
Yeah. No, I'm sure he was at Arbroath away a few years back.
Talking about fucking Jack Butland as fucking Manuel Neuer's second coming.
Oh, fuck off.
Right? Still the same shit houses, still the Lundstrom, still the Campbell, still the Barisiches, still the same shit houses that don't win big football matches against us.
Yeah.
And talk about the League Cup. That's grand. It was against Aberdeen, and you should have fucking choked that as well because they should have had 2 penalties if VAR was consistent with the way they have been over the last couple of weeks. But
Well, see how that goes in the final.
wasn't to be. But yeah, as a closing statement, the board are a bunch of cunts.
There we go. You managed to muster 35 minutes there.
That feels like a big debrief. That feels like it's been building.
No, I love that. I love you starting the opening segment as well because it feels so therapeutic for you.
Yeah, it was it was a big build up. I wasn't even going to watch the final game as well. I just kind of put it on out of habit, like a fucking addict, addicted to pain of hearing the Champions League music and then picking up fucking no points.
At least you hear Champions League music, mate. Though.
They heard it last season, just ended up breaking another record. Worst points total level. I'm just saying. By the way, on the topic of the Champions League, because BT have done a lot of coverage on how long it took Celtic to win and how poor Celtic have been by the way. I just want to pause for a minute and hopefully there is someone at BT listening to this. Just want to pause and quickly have a conversation about the fact that you're banging on about Celtic finishing bottom of the group, and that's fine. It's correct. It's factually correct. We can take it on the chin. I haven't heard much about Newcastle. They're fucking banging money out. They absolutely choked away and finished bottom of their group. Don't have European football after Christmas. Haven't heard a lot. Haven't heard a lot about Man United. They also ended on 4 points. Same as Celtic. 4 points. Haven't heard a lot about them. What have they spent over the last fucking 10 years? £1 billion. Haven't heard fuck all. Strange that. So BT, you're a bunch of ball bag cunts and all. Fuck off.
Brilliant. But you're not wrong.
That's why Jake Humphries left you. Fuckers.
Way! Oh, that's beautiful. Right, we go from one shit club to the other shit club.
It's a nice segue. At least BT don't dig out stupid.
I was going to say, no, we don't have all the shenanigans with BT Sport, with the Champions League. No, nothing like that. No. No, we just have fucking ridiculous FA qualified referees week in, week out who clearly got their qualifications out of a cereal box. It's conflicting though, because we've got a bit of a tradition of our own where we just seem to completely drop off at Christmas. Like, I mean, I even remember thinking back in our last promotion campaign where we went on a 4-game winless run under Neil Warnock when we went up. And so I don't know if that's come in to consideration by coincidence or the fact that we've just looked absolutely lacklustre the last few weeks. I mean, like I said, we haven't recorded for the last fortnight or so, and so, going back as far as probably the 1-0 win over Millwall, and a game that we just looked so flat in. We've completely lost our attacking intensity, our urge to drive and press at defences. Like, I don't know what has happened. We've completely pussyfooted around the last 3 games where we've gone side to side and just looked completely timid, non-stop. And despite us getting 3 points against Millwall, we followed that up with an absolutely poor result against Birmingham. I mean, realistically, the goal should never have even occurred whatsoever. The goal comes in 2 minutes 30 seconds, so 30 seconds after the whistle should have blown, and on that 2-minute mark, it's the ball is in their half on the right flank where Keon Atete's been clearly tripped, where you either give the free kick or you blow for half time. That's it. And no, he lets the game play on. Birmingham counter, and of all fucking cunts to score, Janino Bacuna, brother of his, the brother of that cockbite that we had on our books, the last man to wear the number 7 for Cardiff as well, which is even more disgraceful, despicable. Fucking Janino Bacuna. That cunt could get in the bin and all with his brother. Fuck him. Anyway, moving on. We then go to Hull. No confidence whatsoever. Hull are absolutely rich in form. A team that I've heavily backed to be in the playoffs, if not probably chase Southampton and Leeds along with Ipswich come the end of the season. And they absolutely wiped the floor with us. From start to finish, we were the second best side. Full stop. Massive difference in quality. And we didn't muster anything. It was the same with the away game against Southampton. Just clear differences in quality of performances. And, you know, like, despite Ipswich being a newly promoted side and going head to head with all these big championship sides and managing to compete, it just feels like we are the Ipswich of the championship right now, where there is a clear divide in terms of quality. And even the last few weeks where I've even, you know, sugar-coated how great our quality of depth is, not good enough. Work needs to be made in January. JC, again, left back, just like with you, Joel, with Greg Taylor at Celtic. No competition. The bar isn't set so high. Need to bring someone in to provide competition for JC, and especially for rotation as well. It would always be good to, you know, allow JC to rest up midweek if we've got a game Tuesday or Wednesday night, just to, you know, and then of course provide that competition. Like, you know, again, this is a player who suffered a severe injury, and he's our only out and out option at left back. Like, you can't be rolling with it. Not whatsoever. Central midfield, we look so lost without Aaron Ramsey at the moment. We even look lost without Joe Rawls. Manny Siopis, who has been hands down our signing of the season so far, guy's making misplaced passes left, right, and centre in the last few games, where he's playing ridiculous, ambitious balls in his own half across the side, you know, from one end to the one wing to the other, and it's being caught out. Like, we look so flat at the moment, where we need to make investment, and we can make investment now, which is great to say. And then there's just players that just aren't it. You know, look, I know I've said in the past, like, he's a good instinctive finisher. He scored the winner against Preston. Ike Ugbo just isn't it. He doesn't offer anything whatsoever. Just, you know, with support, without support, the guy is non-existent unless you manage to pick him out in the box where he's at the right place, the right time, and he can put the ball in the back of the net. Keon Atete, I don't understand how this guy doesn't start week in, week out. I know he has problems of injury, so probably a bit unfair to say, but this is a guy who's got our highest conversion rate, but yet he's not our leading striker. Again, like, it feels like there's times where Erol Bulut is experimenting too much week in, week out, where he's chopping and changing all the time, where we just need to stick with a winning formula, especially where we are in the table at the moment. And, you know, despite being 12th in the league, massive improvement from last season. But, you know, when you see your team being completely outclassed, it's never a good display. And again, it's, you know, despite knowing that we were going to get absolutely slaughtered by Hull, I have to sit, you know, I'm still sitting there and watching as if like I'm an addict, thinking that, well, possibly, just maybe, like, you know, we've done it before in the past where we've been 3-0 down at Ellen Road and pull it back to 3-3 when we had the likes of Lee Tomlin and Robert Glatzel on our books, where we were probably a worse side back then. And so this is the thing, like, you sit there and you put yourself through the pain, and like the way Hull scored their goals as well, like, just so easy. Like, Brian Alsop, a goalkeeper that we managed to get 3 million for in the summer, is pinging one ball right down the centre of the pitch, over the top. And that Ozan Tusan, whatever his name is, the Turkish boy they've got who's been rich in form at the moment, dink over Anik. And don't get me started on the fucking goalkeeping situation. Runnarsson, the Icelandic fucking Calder Dragon, needs to fuck off back to Arsenal. I do not want to see that guy in the Cardiff strip ever again. Absolutely liable. Liability, full stop. Not good enough. Get him in the bin. I don't know what Jack Anik did to get dropped. I don't know if there was something that Bulut hasn't liked in recent performances or in training whatsoever. I don't care. Don't have Runnison between the sticks because we're guaranteed to ship goals. And I think the only positive outlet we've got right now is Ruben Colwill. I think the man has been absolutely sensational the last few games. Massive improvement in his press and his defensive work, and is the only player in our side right now who wants to be direct, who wants to run at the defence and try and make something happen. And this is the thing. And then past that is probably Ollie Tanner, who, again, still looks very raw in games. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to slate Ollie Tanner. Like, the guy is a hero in my books after what he did in September against the Jacks. He's a fan favourite. He's a cult hero, without a doubt. But, of course, I want to see more from him. But, again, he's coming on, looks very one-dimensional, looks very raw. There's times where he doesn't know whether to clip the ball into the back post, near post, edge of the box. It's just decision making with these certain players where, it happened so much in the Birmingham game where the decision making and the confidence driving forward just didn't look to be there. Like it doesn't look like a Cardiff side that I've seen, come September, October time where we looked incredible, where we looked so fearful to play against. But like I said, I don't know if it is just by coincidence that it's the Christmas period that we drop off around this time and then we pick up again in January. But, we need to pick up quickly. And
is there any timeline on Ramsey coming back?
Still out for the long term. They still think probably... Well, it's definitely New Year at the very least. Same with Callum O'Dowda as well, who I think we've missed. I think he's probably the next best thing we've got in terms of competition to JC, if I'm honest. Only because we utilised him at left back last season. But we definitely need some investment ourselves this January. I don't know what quality we can bring in, but I think now with the embargo lifted, I'm hoping that we've had some funds set aside that we can go or even just explore the market for free agents. Like Bulut's proved that he's managed to pluck out quality in the likes of Siopis and Gutas. Like it's definitely possible.
In January, so there'll be a few players that would be open to a loan move that maybe weren't in August time, in the summer, probably thinking that they wanted to give it a chance, give it a run at their team, and that loan market could be quite rich in January for 6 months.
Absolutely,
to bring in, I mean, like he said, if Rambo's only going to play, 10 games a season, then you need to have someone that's going to come in and probably not be on his level because you're in the Championship, and the fact you've got Ramsey is because he's a Cardiff boy. That's the only reason, So, but to bring in someone that isn't, it's that depth. Like depth's a weird thing, and you never want them to be the same because then you have a real problem of balancing that, and you're always going to go around.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But you don't want the drop off to be fucking a straight just plight down to the next person. You want it to be, be dip. Like he's not quite as good, but he's more than capable of coming in and filling in. And for Tanner, I get the, there's a magical moment, but there's only so long you can live on.
Yeah.
On that moment, you need to back that up with consistency and performance. And that will come with time. It will come with experience, but you also need to, show something that goes, all right, we're willing to give this kid X amount of time because of what we know he can do, because of that night in September. So there does need to be more. I just maybe I don't know, but there's nothing that fills me with confidence when I see a big striker. Like I can't remember like the last big hefty target man that has really, and someone may prove me wrong here, and there may be someone doing it this season in the Championship, but I can't remember like a big hefty target man in recent times that goes and bags a load of goals. I just think that football has moved on, especially if you're playing this press tactic. I know that there was rumours about Kiefer Moore and that.
I think he's probably the last, probably like you said, like that striker profile that you were just talking about there. I think Kiefer Moore was probably the last striker in the Championship to bag 15, 20 goals when we were under what's his name, Neil Harris
I
in his
just
first
I
season.
think the way that Bulut wants to play, I just don't think that. Well, I don't know, but with that press mechanism, I think you've got to have a bit more about you than just being hefty. Throwing yourself about. I
Yeah.
think I would like to see Cardiff go out and explore someone that's a little bit more nimble. I mean, I think you have it in Robinson. I imagine he's not been in great form. I haven't, to be honest, mate. The results over the last couple of weeks meant that I haven't watched a lot of football.
Yeah.
And
No,
and the
he's
last
been
match,
inconsistent. I must say, like he came off at half time in I think it was either the Birmingham game or the whole game. Came off at half time, looked completely out of sorts. Wasn't involved a lot, and it's a shame though because it feels like him and Carlin Grant are so identical. Where in terms of consistency, where they either show up or they don't.
yeah,
But when you got them both together, you either got two very strong options on the field, or you're playing with 9 men essentially.
yeah,
This is the thing, like, but yeah, no, I feel, and like you said when we talked about the drop off there, like from certain players in certain areas, like it is quite a big drop off. Like despite Ramsey not being fit week in week out and only probably able to muster 10 to 15 games a season nowadays, like the drop off from Ramsey to Wintle is massive.
yeah,
No disrespect to Ryan Wintle, absolutely adore Ryan Wintle, but again, it's the quality. And then like past Wintle, we got Romain Sawyers, who I think only featured for the second or third time against Hull. Andy Renamotor, who I barely see nowadays. Like, there's a better chance of me finding fucking Maddie McCann and Andy Renamotor in the midfield than
that's not
who cares? So, but yeah, but this is the thing. Like, I think I've really started to notice the drop off in quality when certain players aren't performing,
I mean,
and
you look at Ramsey, mate. His player profile, in all honesty, would probably get into every midfield in the Championship, probably bar Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton.
yeah, yeah.
If he was fully fit, he goes to any team. So that level is huge. But like you said, was he mismanaged? Playing so many games in a row. Clearly, from watching the Swansea game, he didn't look 100% there, but he looked as if he would have run on one leg to play that game,
Yeah,
and has playing in that game had a detrimental effect? Was he carrying something, and that's then led
yeah.
to a more severe injury, and that's obviously meant he's been out for longer. Was he?
Yeah, I think he needed the guy under the knife for something. I know that, but I think it was just purely the run of games that we had. Like because I think we had Swansea, then Bristol 2-3 weeks after. So I think it was probably to try and sort of push him through these big games. Like even if he was to play on one leg, like vocally he would have been massive. With the rest of the squad, but yeah, no, I do feel there's definitely rooms for improvement to be made if we want to try and retain ourselves in the top half. The way things are at the moment so far this season, I feel we could definitely push for top half. The way things are, by all means, I won't be disappointed if we finish mid-table as I expected at the start of the season. But no, I feel a few more additions, a few more reinforcements in certain areas, I think could hopefully give us that push to get ourselves back up the table. And yeah, no, we got two interesting games coming up. We go away to Hillsborough on Saturday, and then
Massive game, but they are utter shit.
they are. And again, like it's the same feeling you probably have with Livingston this Saturday with Celtic. Like it's like I don't really know because where we haven't played so well. We don't know what to expect. We don't know who's going to start. Who's what's the ideal starting lineup? How are we going to perform? What
Yeah,
approach we're going to take? Like it's completely
massive opportunity there to
Yeah, absolutely.
get a positive result.
And then we follow, and then we go, and then we return back to Cardiff on Boxing Day against Plymouth.
Which is I like Plymouth. Like I've seen them. I've caught a few like highlights of their games, and I like the way they play. The only you get drawn into like I think it kind of generates more Plymouth games because the algorithm and pie face. I think,
Oh, we all love pie face.
but
Just plastered outside home park.
getting the badge in.
Always.
Um, but yeah, I like them. I think they're a good they're a good sort of solid team. I think they'll be all right this year.
Yeah. No, they've done well so far as well this year, and like even against the bigger sides where they've even where Leeds, for example, where they came back from being 3 goals down to get themselves a respectable result against them in 3-2. Like it's, or was it 4-2 in the end?
Cracking game against Borough as well, didn't they?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And no, I like Plymouth. Again, they were a side that were up in the Championship a few years back. Huge club. And no, good to see that they're back up again doing well.
Bit of a statement. I'm not sure they're a huge club.
Well, I mean, probably not. I think I maybe sugarcoated it a little bit too much. But home park, good venue.
Yeah, been there. It's good.
Yeah, it's a good venue. So no, I don't want to put them down too much. And
Did
then, and then after Plymouth is a big crunch game. In Cardiff, Leicester City.
yeah, that'd be a tough game. They're flying high. Talking of the top end, the sharp end of the Championship, did you watch the East Anglian derby on the weekend?
Oh, what a game! What a spectacle! I love the East Anglian derby. It's probably one of my favourite derbies in football.
I know it's just nice to have a derby that has a bit of bite to it.
Yeah,
You get so
exactly. Where the
comparison
game.
between watching that game, right, that was fully enjoyable, and the passion from the players, the ref letting things go. He let a lot of things go, a lot.
Good.
To United Liverpool, man.
Oh God, well, I don't
But
want to give that game too much of a plug because that was a massive disappointment.
but Ipswich Norwich, really really good.
Yeah, really good spectacle. And then again, Ipswich coming out on top. No, it was 2-2 in the end. Was it 2-2?
2-2.
It was 2-2. No, I saw Ipswich were winning at one point.
So
Yeah, Wes Burns got the equaliser.
yeah, I know. I know a Norwich fan. I did give him a wee bit of stick to say like, come on, but what's the party about for a point? But he said it was 12 years since it was a continuation of 12 years since Ipswich had beat Norwich.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it's been a long time since they've got that victory. So that was more what it was. It was that continuation. But it was a snatch and grab really for Norwich. Was it Jordan Rowe? Was it scoring a
Jordan
brace?
Rowe. Did he get a brace?
Yeah, he scored
Yeah,
both.
yeah, he did get a brace. Okay.
And then Broadway or whatever.
Nathan Broadhead. 2 Welsh boys on the score sheet for Ipswich. It was brilliant. It was nice to see.
Should have had a fucking hat trick.
Yeah, I know. He's definitely a player that I'd like to see him play for Wales at the moment, and again performing well at club level as well so far this season with Ipswich. But no, absolutely fantastic spectacle. Like you said, it's one of those like old school style derbies that you like to see, where the passion is so heated and up in the air in the atmosphere. It's not one of these modernised fucking tourist derbies that you see now. Like you said, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham. Like it's the thing. Like they're so rare to come across, and no, it was definitely a good spectacle to witness.
There's a big one in the FA Cup third round as well. Sunderland, Newcastle. That's
is on main.
lot. Yeah, just those old fashioned. I think it builds up more if you haven't played them for a while as well, which was obviously the case.
Absolutely does, yeah.
Ipswich and Norwich, but yeah, it was a good game.
No, absolutely, and then they're still flying high at the moment. I know that Southampton and Leeds are now starting to really creep up on them, but Ipswich still managing to pick up points and keep themselves as close to Leicester as possible.
To be fair, that's the first time I've watched Ipswich this season. I did have them.
Only my second.
I did. I did have them in my bet the other day. I did back them to beat Watford the other day, and they did that. But we can just pause on the fact that Arsenal were shit asses and were satisfied with a point in PSV, bastards. But
Oh no.
but yeah, to be fair to them, I think I'd said before that I think that the bigger teams will reel them in. I think that they've had little wobbles. Obviously, drew with Birmingham. I think there was another draw in the Norwich game for how much they were on top and how much they dominated. They'll definitely feel like it's 2 points dropped, and it is another draw that allows teams to claw points back on you. So I think it'll end up a lot tighter, but they are a good side. The way that they pass, the way they move the ball, the chances that they create. So maybe I was being a wee bit unfair to them, and maybe just thinking it was that promotion bounce, and eventually that would run out. They're actually a really, really good team. Going up against the Norwich team that was in decent form as well. They had put together. I think it was they had won 4 out of their last 6 for Norwich.
They've done really well as of late. Again, they've climbed up the table, and again, still a recommendable side in the Championship. But it's so easy to to jump to those sorts of conclusions where you've got a newly promoted side who have started off so well, so brilliantly, and then you see the likes of Southampton and Leeds, two relegated sides from the Premier League, still got very good squads amongst them, creeping up behind them and picking up results. And so, but as the weeks go on and the more points Ipswich pick up, then I'd love them to prove us wrong.
Yeah, but shout out to them. They were
up the track, the boys.
They were very good and should have broken that hoodoo on Saturday. They definitely should have won the game. If for a goalmouth scrap that gets put away very well, and then a kind of snapshot that goes through a couple of players and in. But Nathan Broadhead should have had 3, and Byrne as well. He scored, but he probably should have had another one as well. Mm-hmm. They created some real openings and were unfortunate on the day, but certainly that's their first time I've watched them, and good footballing team.
Absolutely, and fair play to Norwich as well. Like you said, you got to make take those fine margin opportunities in those fixtures, against your fierce rivals. And Norwich got themselves a valuable point there at Portman Road, and again they find themselves slowly and gradually climbing their way back up the table, where they, where we're more familiar with Norwich being.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. But we'll move on over to the Premier League. Again, I'm going to start off with something that, of course, was absolutely horrible to see, and that was the game that was abandoned between Bournemouth and Luton. Unfortunately, Tom Lockyer, who suffered cardiac arrest, unfortunately came out alive and well. It has been announced by Sky Sports that the game will be replayed in full, rightfully so, but it's definitely something that you absolutely hate to see in football, and it's scary.
An absolutely harrowing moment. Obviously, I didn't watch the game, and rightfully so. None of it was shown. I'm not a complete degenerate, so I haven't gone searching for it on Twitter, because I'm sure there are some scumbags that have uploaded it. But so I don't know the sort of context or how it happened, but from what I've heard, I think he was nowhere near the play. He's just kind of gone down.
Yeah.
Obviously the shots obviously circulating of the Luton manager going around and clapping all the fans that had stayed, and I think everyone in football, there was a big sigh of relief when we heard that he was stable.
Yeah.
Obviously, after the playoff final, and this happening before, for then to happen a second time. Your health's your wealth. Nothing is more important. Not keeping Luton in the Premier League. Nothing is more important. So hopefully, Tom and his family and all of his team that he has around him, hopefully have a really frank and honest discussion with the medical experts and make sure that they come to a safe conclusion moving forward.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because obviously, look, he's a massive part of Luton's history, and it would be horrific for for something to then be tagged onto that because of medical reasons. Obviously, we've seen players can come back. Christian Eriksen proved that, but the fact it's happened again is a real worry, and you're kind of dancing with a very serious consequences
Absolutely,
if he
100%.
chooses to do that. So, yeah, thankfully, like you said, thankfully, and I'm sure everyone listening or anyone that's heard about it, we're echoing the same opinion that thankfully he's okay. I see a picture on Twitter today, and he was in hospital and he was playing Jenga with a few of the kids. So he's obviously in okay spirits, and he'll always be a part of that football club. You know what I mean?
He
So
absolutely will. I mean, honestly, how vocal and instrumental he was in that promotion campaign with Luton was just
yeah,
huge, absolutely huge.
tuck him in as assistant manager or tuck him in on the
Yeah,
staff. Let him be in and around those boys on a
yeah.
day to day basis. But um, yeah, we can't talk for him. I'm not one to give advice,
No, no.
but
Yeah,
hopefully,
but, with the instinct of, like, the player's well-being always comes first. And that's what I
y-
really hope.
your health is your wealth, man.
Yeah,
100%.
man,
You know what I mean? So,
absolutely. 100%. But good to see that Tom Lockyer is doing well.
yeah, and
100%.
as a as a kind of caveat as well, like Luton have been playing pretty well as well. They had a really rough start to life in the league, and I still think that they're probably just a shade under what they need to be to stay up, along with the likes of Burnley and Sheffield United. But they have been certainly progressing. Obviously desperately unlucky against Arsenal.
They're a very hard grafting side. I watched them against City, and they really do.
Yeah, push City all the way as well.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Took the lead, and then just
It was a far cry from when Tottenham went there and Boston with 10 men. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
if that game happens now, I fully expect that Luton would. And whether that was getting the result against Liverpool that lifted the place, and they thought, hold on a minute, that we deserve to be here. I don't know, but they've given some real good teams and some teams that will be right in and about that, title winning um, picture come the end of the season. They've given some really good games. So um, yeah, hopefully have a great season. Hopefully enjoy it, but I think they may come up short.
absolutely. And then who knows what they can do in January as well. See if they can potentially bring in any positive reinforcements that may push them to safety, but obviously
Like
purely depending on their budget.
I'm not saying that Rob Edwards has done this, but the signings that have been brought in feel very much to me, bar sort of Ross Barkley, because that's kind of like a cliche, you know, promoted team bring in experience. But the likes of Chong and these boys that they've signed, it feels very much like it's saying if we go down, these players will have us at the top end of the championship ready to
Yeah,
come back.
yeah, absolutely,
I'm not
absolutely.
saying that they've gone out with obviously they're being sustainable and they had to redevelop Kennethwell Road to make it fit for purpose in terms of the Premier League requirements. So there was a lot of money that would have gone into that, but I think they've been smart about it to say, look, even if we go down, they haven't gone out and splashed to bring in some superstar wonder kid that has a relegation release clause, and once you go down, he leaves, and you're never going to see him again.
No, exactly.
I think they've built, a sustainable model where even if they do go down, they'll be in that top bracket to push themselves back
Yeah,
up again.
absolutely. Like you said, they found a really good balance with that, with bringing in quality that is good enough to be in the top end of the championship, and then, like you said, they bring in the old experience in Ross Barkley, loan signings in Sambi Lakonga from Arsenal. So you've got
Yep.
a bit of Premier League quality there who may not stick around, but if they were to hypothetically go down, they've still got the likes of, like you said, Chong, Ryan Giles, etc., who can, again, who are more than capable of performing at the top level in the championship. So no, but yeah, no, props to Luton. I like, I think they're just enjoying their time being in the top flight, which is always the most important thing when
Yeah.
you're a club who has had to climb up climb up the pyramid, and then you find yourself there in the promised land. Like, you just want to enjoy the moment there and just seeing your team's name come out on the Premier League fixture list. Like that, it means more than anything. Past everything else. Whether you do get battered week in and week out, it's like, well, with Premier League, why not enjoy it while it lasts? But going from one end of the Premier League table to the other, it's an interesting mix at the moment with the teams. I'm pretty sure it might be worth whacking a tenner on Villa winning the Premier League title the way things are going at the moment.
Yeah, they've had a crazy run of form.
Doing incredibly well at the moment.
Yeah, playing really, really well. Villa Park, I think it's something mental that they've won like 16 games on a row at home or something like that.
16 games on the trot at home they've won now, yeah.
Yeah, so they've obviously making Villa Park a fortress, and they're through in the Conference League, so they're on a European adventure as well. I'm probably hoping with the fact that fifth will probably be Champions League.
Yeah.
Next season, who knows? I think they're more than if they couldn't keep himself in that top four bracket, which is tough with the the level of quality that will come back at them. Fifth is completely reasonable.
Absolutely no, but at the moment, I'm pretty sure. Like, this may be a bit of a hot take. I think they're probably the only team in recent times that have managed to outplay Man City as of late.
Yeah, I think Arsenal did it at the Emirates, didn't they? Earlier on this season, but they've got everyone. It's a weird kind of vibe. They've just got this real air of confidence,
like that Leicester-esque mentality, isn't it? That togetherness.
Yeah,
to match with the quality. I don't think Leicester really had much quality when they won the league title.
Just a Jamie Vardy over the top.
It was, and it worked a treat.
Chat shit, get banged.
Yeah. Nah, but I think the quality is vastly different.
You don't want to chat too much shit because that seems to run in the Vardy family. Then you end up in court, Rebecca. What? What'd you say?
Whoa, Becky girl, get a plug on the football booth. Right.
It's the plug for the Netflix series. Colleen really telling her truths. Wayne Rooney must have been so pissed that he had to fly back from Dallas.
Netflix will fucking make documentaries on anything nowadays.
Anything. But
took the water boy off of Netflix, so I was fuming about
that. But yeah, Villa, again, it's one of those historic clubs. I think everyone, probably bar Birmingham and Wolves fans, probably have a little bit of a soft spot for them because what Villa Park used to be, that neutral ground for the semi-finals of the FA Cup. It's a special place to play football. I've always had a soft spot for Villa since Martin O'Neill went down there, and done all right with them. But yeah, I like him. And another team that has a proper derby as well. Like when Birmingham and Villa get together, it's a spicy meatball. But yeah, buzzing for Emery as well. Basically laughed out the Premier League. People taking the piss of good evening. With Arsenal, went to Villarreal, did fantastically well. Humbled a few people with performances against some of the English clubs, and then gets his chance. And I think a few people sneered at him in Spain for leaving Villarreal at the time. For the success that he'd had to come to Aston Villa, and again, he's done a fantastic job, and he was picking up the debris that Steven Gerrard managed to leave behind. And Ollie Watkins.
And Villa fans have never looked back.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins, John McGinn,
Moussa Diaby, Leon Bailey, Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, Douglas Luiz. The first half of the season as well, that guy, I think he scored like 6 home games in a row. I know he takes penalties and that, but the guy's also a fucking DM. And you think of that, that they were close to losing him. Arsenal obviously wanted him. That didn't happen, and he's performed brilliantly. So they may have to maybe squeaky bum time in January. Some people may be coming in to test their resolve as well. But the position they're in, it looks like it's one of those clubs that when you look and you think it must be brilliant to play your football there at the moment.
Yeah, and I think exactly. I think Emery has brought an absolutely brilliant philosophy to the club where they are playing fantastic football. He's managed to attract certain calibre of players that can really take them up a level. When the likes of Moussa Diaby, that Pau Torres at the back, who's been outstanding for them in that back line. And then again, like just getting the best out of players that have been there longer than others, and really bringing out the best of them in the likes of John McGinn and Douglas Luiz.
Realising people that he didn't need as well. That's maybe controversial to let go. The likes of Philip Coutinho. When he was brought in, he was the guy. He was signing from
Yeah,
Barca. Obviously, realised pretty quick that he just wasn't for him, and he's got him out without any kind of impact on the squad. But the likes of Ollie Watkins and even Emi Martinez seems to have gone to a different level since the World Cup. That
yeah.
confidence that he has.
Matty Cash as well.
Yeah, he loves an own goal, Matty Cash though.
Yeah, if I got him in my fantasy team, he certainly fucking loves them, prick.
But Digne as well on the left,
Yep.
solid left back. So it's a really really strong. And then they've still got, I think that Tyrone Mings is out. I think there's still him to come back.
Well, I think it's a bit of a. Well, I know because he posted something on Instagram which was a bit fearful for the Villa hopeful. Basically teasing his retirement potentially, but again, could be reading into it a bit too much. But it may well be the case that he's out for the season and then he rehabilitates himself and then he comes back fit and fresh again for the 2024 season. But I mean, even then, past Tyrone Mings, they've still got the likes of Diego Carlos, who was who they lost early on last season when they first brought him in, but has come back and still looks a very durable option for them alongside Pau Torres. So no, Villa look incredibly strong at the moment, and again, it'd be interesting to see how they are tested against bigger clubs when it comes to maintaining the players they've got at the moment. How they even reinforce.
Well, they've had their
areas.
tests, really, haven't they? They've gone away to Tottenham and won. They've beat Arsenal at home. They've beat City at home. But the key thing to pushing on and breaking that top four mould is consistency. So they've got to go out and do it against everyone. That Leicester found out a few seasons in a row that you've got to have that consistency, otherwise you'll drop out. So the cliche would be to think that the bubble will burst and they'll run out. But we've seen it before. With the likes of Leicester that they could keep going, and I hope they do. I really hope they do.
No, exactly. You always like a team to see. You like to see a team that just breaks the mould.
They've got European football after Christmas as well that could have a big factor. They'll be playing twice a week, travelling to some pretty strange destinations, probably in the earlier knockout stages of the Conference League as well, because just the type of competition it is. But you see how much it meant to West Ham last year winning that trophy. So once you're in the latter stages, I don't think there's much difference. Once you get to that knockout stages of the Conference League and the Europa League, I don't think there's a huge amount of difference really between the level of quality that will be in both.
No, I don't think so, because you always seem to end up with a big, 2 or 3 big clubs in that competition, regardless. When you're looking at West Ham last season, where they had a big side in Fiorentina in the final, and then prior to that, Roma winning it.
Yeah,
they always seems to be a big team that do find themselves there in those latter stages of those competitions.
I think so like Frankfurt, they're obviously Europa League winners. Betis, shite bags, we'll not talk about them.
Oh, fuck Betis. God.
Olympiacos, Ajax, Lille, Villa, Fiorentina again, Fenerbahce. Again, I don't think that's a massive difference. Obviously, we'll go to the Europa League and you'll see, because of the dropout from the Champions League, but Feyenoord, Roma, Lens, Freiburg, you have AC Milan in Europa League, obviously a massive team, and Benfica, big team, but like Galatasaray as well, same as sort of Fenerbahce.
Yeah. And then again, when you said there, like Freiburg, who are probably on par with Frankfurt in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, you probably look at the Europa League and you say Leverkusen, Villarreal, Liverpool, AC Milan, they're the standouts. But once you condense that and you look at it from a quarter-final mix, they'll be the standouts because of the Champions League fallout. But in that Conference League, I don't think overall there would be
Yeah.
a huge difference. So certainly once you get to the latter stages, you're full in for a really credible European trophy, and I think that's been proven by how much emotion and care has been shown when Roma were winning it, when West Ham were winning it. It's a chance to win a European trophy.
No, exactly. And it was good to see as well with the Conference League being introduced. Like, you really thought it was just going to be completely disregarded and given the same acknowledgement, equivalent to the Carabao Cup. But the fact that where there is a sentiment behind it, there's meaning to it when it comes to like qualifying for bigger European competitions. It does go a long way, and like it's good to see like these smaller clubs essentially who are not the top four realistically go the distance. And
It'll be interesting to see once they bring in the new format next year and it becomes the league format and teams don't drop, as I understand it, they don't drop into the other competition.
no, they don't. I think what they do, they're separated into like last 16, final 32,
Yeah,
and
so
then you're eliminated basically if you fall below
so
20th.
the fact they won't get the drop out of the Europa League, it'd be interesting then to see is it still on par or is there, because the way that the English teams get in and the money they have, like Villa go into that competition, it would have to be one of the favourites at the start because of the team they've got and the revenue available to them and the spending power they have. It would be interesting to see, how that all plays out and what kind of dynamic it leaves for it. But at the moment, I think you look at the people that have won it, right? West Ham, like a household Premier League team name, doing again your semi-finals in the Europa League, through to the knockout stages again in the Europa League. But I think they're seventh or whatever in the Premier League. Only I think 3 or 4 points off fifth, which again is probably going to be Champions League football. Though there's still some jelly-illed pie mash eating people. Fucking Moisey out. All right, mate, be careful what you wish for. And then obviously Roma, who are a staple in European football.
Yeah, 100%.
A massive team in Roma has won it, and then a credible Premier League team's won it. So it's not like it's being won by some random Norwegian team. It's being, I guess, the credibility is given to it by how serious these clubs take it.
Yeah.
And I think it's been against, like you said, the kind of expectation. I think it's been a really good addition to European football.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, the team that is going into the Christmas period, top of the table, Arsenal. 2-0 against Brighton on the weekend. A man who has really taken a bit of a U-turn in terms of player profile and his form at the moment, Kai Havertz. At the moment,
Yeah.
got himself on the score sheet in the last few fixtures.
I don't know how he's being utilised. I think even at Chelsea, he scored, he bagged goals. At times, he went through decent spells. I still think he's a 10, and he's being forced to play in a position that isn't his natural role, just because the way that football is at the moment, and that position seems to be disappearing. So I think he's always going to struggle to kind of adapt, but he seems to be finding his feet. And if they can kind of get him in there and get him comfortable, then there's a player in there 100%. I think the big thing for Arsenal, if they want to win the league, is to go and get himself a striker. Just go and put your marker down and give yourself a striker. Because Gabby Jesus, he's just not an out-and-out striker that's going to bag you 20 a season.
No.
So have him to come on or rotation on the wings, you kind of understand now why Pep was playing him on the wings. Go out and really put your mark on. You've spent big on Rice. You've filled that. You've built up that midfield. You have Saliba and Gabriel, whether or not Saudi will come back in January for Gabriel, because that was a big rumor. Who knows? But you've gone and you've laid your marker down everywhere else. But I think really that vocal point needs fixing. And Ketia, not it.
Never
And
has been, never will be.
Gabby Jesus, but fantastic player. But in terms of, is he going to get you 20 a season? I don't think so. So can you go? I think there was rumours about Ivan Toney. I don't know if the betting suspended on that one, but it was there, right? Don't look at me like that. It was there. But obviously he's allowed to play football again in January.
He is, yeah.
For betted related offences. If you didn't know why I said that joke 3 seconds ago, now you know. There we go. So
Cheers.
just in case.
Just in case.
There's that rumour. But yeah, it's one of these cliches, isn't it? That going out and finding that striker. There's not a lot of them in Europe. Could you go and what is the resource like? Could you go and ask Villa how much they want for Watkins? I imagine it's a big number, but
massive number. Yeah.
I mean, I did see that boy at Brighton, Ferguson, they slapped like 110 million price tag on
Oh
him.
yeah, no, I know. Yeah, back in the summer they said at least 120 million, 110, whatever it was.
So I imagine because it's the Premier League, it'll be big numbers because he's English as well. You always have that tax being carried, but I'm sure there is someone in world football that can come in and be more prolific in front of goal than.
God, yeah, you can imagine that there. Yeah, if Arsenal get a goal-scoring striker.
I imagine at some point City will click, although there is that whole hoodoo about no teams ever won 4 in a row in the Premier League. So
Yeah.
But I imagine at some point City will click. Obviously, threw the game away against Palace on the weekend, 2-0 up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, massively.
Very silly. Phil Foden just decided to absolutely boot the fuck out of Mateta
Yeah.
in the last minute. And then tried to argue I was trying to kick the ball. Yeah, but you didn't, Phil. You kicked the player.
That's always the case, Phil. We know you're trying to kick the ball. Guess what? You didn't.
You fucking thumped him.
Booted him into next week, and that's why it's a penalty. Deal with it. Yeah, no. Again, City play better when they're chasing down teams anyway, I feel.
Yeah.
And yeah, a massive hiccup for them on the weekend against Palace, but I think once they have everyone fit and they all click and get into full gear, then they'll certainly still be up there chasing down the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool and Villa. 100%. And speaking of Liverpool, what a fucking fantastic game of football against United.
Yeah. If you're blind and you have, if you're blind, deaf, and dumb, you probably enjoyed that game. I was, so shit. And I know that.
I just love that how everyone was like backing Liverpool, like, oh, is it going to be 7-0 again, 8-0, 9-0?
It just seemed that Liverpool's game plan was get within 20 yards and then shoot so that you hit a United player. And it's not the way they normally play this, that incisive, like, get down, and I just don't know what the fucking.
Yeah, took the complete and utter wrong approach against
I
United.
mean, when you look back on it and you think United probably had the better chances, the Garnacho chance, the Højlund chance, they probably had the better chances.
Yeah.
And, obviously their problems are clear for all to see. Højlund, I think there's a player in there. I think you've seen it, more so on Champions League nights, but there is a player there. But he's still very young, still very raw. And, yeah, for United to be happy to go to Anfield and come away without being beat 100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, good point for them. It was actually their first draw as well this season in the Premier League, which is quite surprising. Like, because I was looking at the table the other day and thinking, like, how on earth have United find themselves up in 6th place? Because they've lost 7 games, but they haven't drawn any.
Yeah, everything's reactionary to United as well. People were saying, time for Ten Hag to go and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know who you get in.
This is the thing. You've got to look at the bigger picture, and Ten Hag is not the issue because you've always got to think hypothetically who honestly could take that team right now, work alongside the Glazers, get them to back them, and turn United into the old United of that we were familiar with once upon a time.
I
I
mean,
don't.
he's things that he has to answer for ultimately. He brought Anthony. He clearly wanted him. And the guy's shit.
Yeah.
But there's also the scouting mechanism. But I'm not going to talk about United.
No.
Fucking do it too much.
Yeah, we've done it way too much.
What I am going to say though is this may be a hot take. It seems that everyone I say this to disagrees with me, but Diego Dallo was rightfully sent off.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I saw the replays earlier. I don't see the controversy behind it. It is a red card.
Like people are saying, you've got to give him like time to calm down. No, you've been booked for dissent. You just don't be fucking stupid. And then people are, refs have got to chill out. What's happened is we've become so accustomed to refs taking abuse that we just expect them to take it. So you don't get the throw. Okay, look, it should have been your throw. That's fine. You don't get the throw. You throw your arms out. Dissent. You get yellow carded. You don't
Yeah.
get booked. You do the same thing. We see a couple of weeks ago, Lewis Dunk got sent off for something very similar. Got booked and then said something, got sent off. Obviously, I think his was for a tackle and then it was dissent. But clearly, there's that mantra of they're stamping this out. It was just absolutely moronic from.
It was completely naive of Diego Dallo to get himself sent off the way he did. Like, this is the thing: if you're on a booking, you shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You keep your mouth zipped. You don't say a thing. Don't entertain that option. Don't entertain that opportunity where.
Same as when you go into like a 50-50 and this it could go one way, could go the other, and then they throw out that phrase, don't give the ref a decision to make. Don't give him the decision to make. Yes, look, the decision's been wrong. Fair enough. Sometimes they go for you, sometimes they don't. You've voiced your opinion, you've been yellow carded. Right. Put your brain back in your head. Right, get back into position and see the game out because you're away at your biggest rivals and you're on course for a real one. If Liverpool go and score in that last little bit, and it's because someone was wandering in
Yeah.
from the left wing, it's completely his own fault.
No,
But
exactly.
they didn't because it looked like Liverpool could have played for 12 months and not scored.
Because they're taking pot shots for the whole fucking game. That's why. But yeah, it is what it is. But no, definitely an interesting few spectacles to look forward to. Just look at the time now, and I think we covered everything as well. So we're going to start wrapping things up. Mayhem, so good to be back. Pleasure to have you again. Thank you for joining me this evening. I wish you a wonderful Christmas to yourself and your family. Hope you spend some much needed time with the loved ones and enjoy yourselves over the holidays. And we'll be back here around New Year's.
Yeah, you too, but I hope you have a
Cheers,
good
pal.
one with your tacos, traditional Swedish
Fuck
meal.
off. I ain't making them, that's for sure. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, you can check out all episodes over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and all other audio platforms. If you'd like to check us out in the live recordings, head on over to our YouTube channel at the Football Booth. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, drop a comment with your thoughts and opinions. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, ladies and gents, and until next time, I bid you all good night and a star.